of miscellaneous business. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
This national government believes that we can and we must support people off welfare and into work. We have heard from the left and from the opposition members who do not believe in them enough to actually back them into work, but would rather keep them down. Keep them down. Let's not believe in beneficiaries and their ability to get off welfare and into work and get ahead. Let's keep them down. Particularly, let's keep down the women, is what we constantly hear from them. Keep them on the DPB, keep them dependent on the welfare, intergenerational, and do nothing about it but hand-wring and scaremonger. And scaremonger, I say. Who is the beneficiary basher? It is those who simply wring their hands in despair, think that the answers to the questions are too hard and are ill-prepared to stand in and actually have an active system that works for people and supports them to recognise what they can do instead of what they can't. Let's be quite clear. At the moment, we spend 90% of our spend that we do in employment assistance on the 10% of our long-term liability on those on the unemployment benefit. So we spend pretty much nothing or minimal on those that are on the DPB, on the sickness benefit or on the invalids. So even when they, as you say, do want to get on into work and do want that extra support, how the system has been, and under the previous government, we did not give them that support. This is fundamentally going to change the system so that they get the support that they need so that they can get ahead. It quite amuses me that the honourable member would like to go back to the early 1990s. So I've heard the cries of how it was back in my day. So it does quite amuse me, and I give due respect to those members in my own party that were around in the early 1990s. But it would be fair to say that I've never heard a great reflection on that time for welfare reform from opposition members or from the left. So they don't normally brag about how great it was in the early 1990s for beneficiaries, but they are now. Now we're constantly hearing how great it was in the early 1990s when I was on a benefit, and we should go back to that time. So instead of a time now where we spend more than $1.2 billion more just on family tax credit support for those that are on benefits, just at the time where actually our expenditure on childcare assistance, just for those on benefits, the childcare, listen up, you might learn something, the childcare assistance for those that are on benefits has more than tripled. More than tripled. Yeah, let's give us some actual numbers. So in 1999, let's go for that year, there were from $50 million was actually in support to now $188 million per annum. So that's where that support has gone, and we think it should be more. So this side of the House actually thinks we should be paying more for those that are disadvantaged, for those that are struggling to get in there, and that's what these reforms are all about. So I'm not going to join the negative ninnies from over on the left who believe that keeping people down, who believe that actually not backing them into work, looking at what they can do instead of what they can't is the way forward. Quite frankly, the work that was done in the year 2000s has led to ongoing dependence of the welfare system. Has seen 29% of those that are currently on benefits having subsequent children while they are there. We need to give them that sort of support. If we are serious about getting those women in particular out of hardship, there is a better way to do it than what we saw back in the 2000s. We saw sickness benefits going up by more than 18,000 when there were the jobs supposedly there. So we hear constantly about all these jobs that were there and the unemployment rate in the mid-2000s. In fact, the invalids benefit went up by over 50% and the sickness benefit went up by just under 50% when all these supposed jobs were miraculously there and created by the Labor government. And And what happened when things got a bit wobbly out there? What happened when we had the effects of a global recession? It was those very people that they had not actually educated at schools that fell out of the system and were most sacrificed.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, talk is cheap, Mr. Speaker, and it's